Hello movie lovers, Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I want to bring you guys my Blu-ray and DVD shopping guide and reviews for March 7th, 2020. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. I hope you guys are practicing your social distancing and you're staying safe. And I hope you guys are getting a chance to watch movies. Let me know what you guys have been watching. Are you guys catching up on your watch list? Or are you guys watching a lot of Netflix, that Tiger Show or whatever? Are you guys renting digital movies? You're buying digital movies? Are you ordering movies online? What are you guys doing? Just curious. I haven't really picked up much. But I have found a lot of like PR companies are really pushing digital movies because the studios are trying to make some money. And if you guys can buy the digital movies, you know, they'll make some money. And so they're kind of pushing that. And I'm going to be reviewing a lot of that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Remember, you can find affiliate links to purchase these movies down in the description below. Now, all these movies were provided to me free for review, except for the Boy Band Con, which is free on YouTube. And I do have a link like all the way down in the bottom of the description where you guys can check that out. But I do want to share my thoughts on it. So first up, guys, we have Little Women. This one's releasing on a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Amazon, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, all $19.99. It's also releasing on a DVD and digital. Amazon, Target, and Walmart, $17.99. Best Buy, $22.99. Now, Sony Pictures did send me over a copy of Little Women for review, and I did post an unboxing of this. If you guys want to check that out, just search for Little Women on my channel. Now, I had never seen the previous, I believe there's just one previous Little Women movie, and I've never seen it before, so I will not be comparing the two films in any way. Now, this is the story of four sisters, primarily during the Civil War. It's unclear to me if it takes place after the Civil War at all, or it's all during the Civil War. I can't really say for sure. And it's basically just about these four sisters' lives and their trials and tribulations, their romances, their lack of romances, their hobbies, their careers, their children, getting sick, dying, all these kind of things just throughout their life. Although it doesn't necessarily visually seem to cover a large portion of their lives, as they don't really seem to age too much or any of this. It's not like 50 years. It's, I don't know, 5-10 years. It's hard to say because they don't seem to age. So it can't be a really long amount of time. Now, I really enjoyed this movie, guys. It's a great drama, like I say, about these four sisters. And it's like there's heartwarming moments and there's sad moments. And there's a really great story. To me, I really didn't care for the fact that it jumps around in time like crazy. And it does say right here on the back, reflects back and forth on her fictional life. But to me, I was just very confused. Right off the bat, I was like, who are these people? What are they doing? And I didn't realize until roughly an hour into this movie, it's a little over 2 hours long, that they were jumping around in time constantly. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense, because I was so confused on who everyone was and what they were doing. And to me, it just makes the movie confusing, and I don't understand why you would want to make this non-linear story. It's a great story, like I say, but to me, the details were so confusing. What happens when one sister becomes a professional writer, and at some point she quits, but when? Like it's hard to really follow when or why. I mean, eventually they say kind of why, but I mean, it's just really hard to follow a lot of the details of the movie. And I really wish they had just done a real linear story, because I really enjoyed the movie, but I just was confused at a lot of points. And the realization to me that they were jumping around time, like every scene, I think, is a different time period. I mean, they revisit the same time periods, but from scene to scene, it's never the same time period. But I did enjoy this one, guys. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Next up is The Night Clerk. Now, I had previously reviewed this one. If you guys want to check out that full review, just search for The Night Clerk on my channel. There were a lot of questions about that review, which are spoilers, and I'm not going to get into them. Unfortunately, I'm kind of like, do I get into them? Because, I told people, well, we'll see when I rewatch it. I will say this, the ending that people were asking me about, he doesn't do what they were asking me That's kind of the biggest thing about this one. But it is releasing on a DVD and digital. Amazon, Target $12.99, Best Buy $13.99, and Walmart a listing. And Paramount Pictures did send me over a copy of The Night Clerk for review, and I did post an unboxing of this one. If you guys want to check that out, just search for The Night Clerk on my channel. There's a great cast in this one, guys. Ty Sheridan, John Leguizamo, Helen Hunt, Anna de Armas, and Ty Sheridan's character has Asperger's, and he works at this hotel. And it's a little creepy, but he's not really doing it in like a sexual way, but he is filming the guests secretly. He's got all these like spy cameras set up in the room, and he just studies the videotapes to practice interacting with other people and how to talk and act in the situations. And yes, it is creepy and weird, but he doesn't understand it really as being like this invasion of privacy, and he's not doing it for kind of any sexual reasons. It's just kind of for him to try to understand better how to interact with other people. And so this woman is about to get murdered, and he's watching it, and so he gets there as fast as he can to try to stop it, but he's too late. Now John Leguizamo is the detective, and he believes that if nothing else, Bart, who's played by Ty Sheridan, knows what happened. He's not really sure if like he killed her or if he was involved, but he believes that he at least knows, and that he's very intelligent, and he knows more than he's letting on to. And so through a lot of the movie, they're trying to investigate him, and then this woman comes into play, who he kind of falls in love with. And I thought this was a really interesting movie, guys. It's a little slow, but not in a bad way. Like, I thought it was super interesting. And kind of a I don't know, the ending to me, it's kind of like, I don't understand why they did it the way they did. I mean, I understand they wanted this real suspenseful moment, but also I feel like it's just really falsely generated. And but I liked it, guys. I thought it was a fun movie for sure. And Ty Sheridan was great, and I always love to see John Leguizamo. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. Next up, The Perished is going to be releasing on April 7th. Now, this movie is a horror movie, and it's about this woman in Ireland, and I didn't really understand. Like, I started kind of thinking, Ireland, a lot of people there are Catholic, and I believe that has a lot to do with what they're talking about in this movie, about all these women in Ireland who were like having these secret abortions because in the Catholic religion, you can't have an abortion. I would imagine in most religions you can't have an abortion, but if they're really strongly Catholic there, these women would kind of go to these secret houses or whatever to get abortions done. And I don't know if they give like a real time frame, like if that's still what happens. But then this young woman, I think she was under 18, she gets pregnant, and she goes to tell the dad, and he's like, before she can even get the words out, he's like, yeah, I think we need to take a break. He's not necessarily breaking up with her, but he just says they need a little time apart, a little bit of a separation. And so she just kind of freaks out, and she gets an abortion. And then after this, she goes to stay with her friend at this house. I don't know, it's like his family's vacation house or something, but possibly it was one of these secret abortion houses. I didn't really understand the whole connection there. Unfortunately, like a lot of these kind of lower budget horror movies, most of the movie isn't even a horror movie. Like, I would have probably enjoyed this a little more if they just were going for a drama about a woman who wasn't ready to have a baby, and for her own reasons she decided to have an abortion, and this is her story. But then kind of towards the end, it ends up being like she's hearing like babies crying and voices, and she's finding blood, and she keeps bleeding. And they told her that was normal to be bleeding, and then it just goes into this really weird ending. And I'm not going to give it away. I mean, it does definitely have horror elements to the ending. But overall, guys, I mean, I thought the acting was average to slightly above average. Probably about what you would expect, or a little better from a lower budget horror movie. But like I say, it just doesn't have any horror elements through the majority of the movie. And I found that to be disappointing. I did give this one a 2.5 out of 5. It's at least average, maybe a tiny bit better than average, but I think it's pretty average. Next up, guys, BraveStorm is releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Best Buy $9.99, Target and Walmart $14.99. Now I am actually going to be reviewing this one. I'll probably be reviewing it next week. I am scheduled to receive it today, so I'll probably just review it in next week's video. Next up is Dead by Dawn. This one's releasing on a DVD. I don't know about these prices, guys. Target $5.99, Amazon $12.99. Best Buy and Walmart, no listing. Now, like I say, that's kind of a strange gap there. This is an Uncorked Entertainment release, and I did look up one of their next week's movies already, and I think Amazon has it for $5.99, so I don't know if they're trying this new pricing model or it's some sort of glitch. But I did get a streaming link sent to me to review this one. Now, this one does have Jamie Bernadette, who has kind of like become really well known for being in these lower budget horror movies, and she's kind of like the low budget scream queen, or I don't know what you want to call her exactly. So I thought I'd give this one a chance, and it definitely had some very interesting stills to go along with it, just of scenes from the movie. So I thought I'd give it a chance. And it's about this young woman. I don't know if you're really giving her age, but she's like with her boyfriend, and he's not very happy with her, and he starts abusing her. So she leaves, and she's going to this Halloween party at her uncle's house. And she calls a fake Uber. It's Uber, but they give it some other name. And next thing you know, she's like all bloody, and she shows up at this guy's cabin. And what they reveal is that she was like the driver abducted her, and then at some point she was abused, and now she's escaped to this cabin kind of in the woods. And the guy is like taking care of her and whatnot. And then this guy ends up coming to the house, and he's like, "Oh, my sister is autistic, and we were in a car accident, and she's hurt, and she wandered away. We're just looking for her." And it's like, this is such a weird story to come up with. And the guy's not buying it, obviously. And he's like, "Well, I'll call the police." And they're like, "Well, can we come in and get some water?" And he's like, "I'll bring you some water." And so then he comes back out, and Jamie Bernadette's character is like, "Oh, he has a gun." And I don't remember if she saw he had a gun, or like she's psychic. I didn't understand that. And so, she's like, "Yeah, these are the guys, and they're outside." And at one point she's like, they're vampires. And I was like, is she being literal? Because they wouldn't come in the house. Like, they knew he had a gun, but they also had a gun, and there was 3 of them and 1 of him. I didn't really understand why there was this whole standoff. And I was like, is she being literal? He's a vampire, and that's why he won't come in unless they invite him in. But I guess they weren't being literal. They were just being figurative. But so then for some reason, the guy in the cabin and the woman, they go into zombie apocalypse mode, and they start making all these traps and weapons, like some sort of, not a bat, but some sort of something with nails sticking out of it. And I'm like, he has a gun. Why didn't you just shoot him? Like, I don't understand why they were having this standoff. And during this standoff, the people outside were just being really weird, really creepy stuff going on. And I don't know, it's hard to even describe. I don't want to give away the details, but they were just being really weird outside. So to me, the acting in this one was okay, slightly above okay. I definitely have seen much worse acting. Some of the acting, though, was over the top, and at points was just ridiculously over the top. Most of the gore elements, and like when you get cut and hurt and stuff, it was pretty basic and low budget. Otherwise, I felt like the production was above average, and the story was okay. I think this movie is just a fun kind of little escape. Not real a whole lot to the story. A lot of real nonsensical plot points, like why would you start making traps and bats with nails in them, and like you just shoot them, But overall, I thought this movie was all right, guys. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Next up is American Pie Presents The Naked Mile, being released on a Blu-ray. Best Buy $19.99, Target $20.49, Walmart $21.49, and I believe Amazon has this now for $20.49. They didn't have it listed when I made this, but I believe it is now. Next up is Dolittle. I know you guys are all excited for Dolittle. Who needs Iron Man? You could have Dolittle. This one's releasing on a 4K Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Walmart $27.96, Best Buy $27.99, and Target the ultra low price of $35.99. $19.99. It's also releasing on a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Amazon, Best Buy, and Walmart, $22.99. Target, $24.99. And then finally, we'll be releasing on a DVD. Amazon, Target, and Walmart, $19.99. Best Buy, $22.99. Now, I did have several people ask me about Dolittle and Cats, if I'd be reviewing those. Like I've already said, guys, just nothing really is being sent out. Most studios send their movies out from California. Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, they all send their movies from California, and everything in California is shut down right now, so they're not really doing any of that. CBS, Magnolia, and Magnet, they're all in New York, so I don't think they'll be sending anything. Some of these other places, they're not like as locked down as California and New York, so they are still sending stuff out. But anyways, I totally went off right there. Cats is releasing on a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Amazon, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, all $22.99. Also releasing on a DVD. Amazon, $17.96. Target, $17.99. And Best Buy, $22.99. I couldn't find it on the Walmart website. With Amazon having the price at $17.96, I want to say that's Walmart's price, but I could not find it on the website. Next up is Eddie Macon's Run, and this one's releasing on a Blu-ray. Amazon, Target, and Walmart, $12.19. Best Buy, $12.99. Next up is Camp Coldbrook, releasing on a Blu-ray. Best Buy and Walmart, $14.99. Amazon, $16.96. And Target, $16.99. Also releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Walmart, $9.96. Target, $11.49. And Best Buy, no listing. Next up, Trapped is releasing on a Blu-ray. Amazon and Best Buy, $8.99. Walmart, $9.21. And Target, $9.29. Next up is Escape from Pretoria. Now, I did review this one before. If you guys want to check out my review, just search for Escape from Pretoria on my channel. This one is about these guys who are kind of like non-violently protesting civil rights in Southern Africa, I believe it was. And I can't remember what year this was happening. And they get sent to prison for like a really long time. And basically, as soon as they get there, they start trying to escape, and they come up with this really elaborate scheme on how they're going to escape. And I really enjoyed this movie, guys. I thought it was cool. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It is releasing on a Blu-ray, Amazon and Walmart, $19.95, Best Buy, $19.99, Target, $26.49. Also releasing on a DVD, Amazon and Walmart, $16.50, Best Buy, $17.99, and Target, $19.69. Next up, Knives and Skin. I did review this one as well. You can find that by searching for Knives and Skin on my channel. I don't remember a whole lot about this. It was kind of a horror movie, and it had like some mystical elements to it, and it was very strange, but I can't remember a whole lot about the actual story. I did give it a 3 out of 5. It is releasing on a Blu-ray, Amazon $17.96, Target $17.99, and Walmart $22.45. Best Buy, no listing. Next up, Heroes is releasing on a Blu-ray, Amazon and Target $12.19, Best Buy $12.99, and Walmart no listing. Next up, Unlikely Angel is releasing on a DVD, Amazon and Walmart $5, Best Buy and Target $18.99. And then Madam Secretary, the final season, is releasing on a DVD, Amazon, Best Buy, and Walmart $29.99, Target $31.99. Now, coming to digital only is a movie called The 420 Movie. I think you guys can probably guess what this one's about. I haven't seen it yet. I will be reviewing it. I wanted to review it for this video, but they have an embargo date of the 7th, and I'm going to post this on the 6th, so I couldn't do it. I'll probably just review it in next week's video. Now, I do have a few more reviews for you guys of stuff that's already out now. Fox or Disney or whatever you want to call it did send me digital copies of Downhill and Call of the Wild, so I thought I'd review those for you guys. Now, Downhill has Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell, and it's this movie about these two kind of middle-aged, this couple, and they go on vacation to somewhere in Europe. I don't know if they say, or I can't remember where it is, and they go to this ski resort and they bring their kids, and I was a little confused right off the bat. I don't know if it was kind of like showing the selfishness of Will Ferrell's character, but they go to the ski resort that's not necessarily family friendly. It's not like a nudist thing or anything, but it's not the family location. There's another one real close where everybody takes their kids, but he doesn't go there. He goes to this other place. And so they're on vacation, and they're going skiing, and he has all these ideas, but he's more interested in what he wants to do. I mean, aren't we all? But he wants to do what he wants to do. He's not really worried as much about his kids or necessarily his wife. And one of his coworkers is in Europe too, and she doesn't want them to get together, but he's like kind of behind her back scheming to just kind of hang out together. And like I said, maybe he's just being a little selfish, and they get into a lot of arguments, and it's like almost like they're going to get divorced. And Will Ferrell's character really has to come to the realization that he's there to spend time with his family, and he needs to do things that his family wants to do, and he needs to be there for his family. Now, it's definitely an interesting story. With Will Ferrell in it, I expected it to be more of a comedy. This is much more of a drama. I don't know if there was really much, if any, comedy in this movie, but I did like the story. Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus were both good in this, but like I said, I would have just expected it to be funnier. I did give it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed the story. And I guess in some ways I can relate, but I liked it. Next up is Call of the Wild. Now this one stars Harrison Ford, but he doesn't really come into the movie too much until later into it. This movie's more about a dog called Buck. Now, I don't know if I would call it backlash, but there's just kind of a lot of commotion about the dog. All the animals in this movie are CGI, and the dog really at some points does not look good. It's very, a friend of mine called it too well animated, too much emotion. It doesn't really seem like a real dog. And honestly, in the movie, they don't portray him as much of a dog as like a super intelligent human dog. Like, he knows everything that's going on. He's much smarter than a real dog would be. They do a lot of just kind of funny, silly stuff with the dog that would be much harder to near impossible to do with a real dog. But then at times too, they really seem to lack a vision of reality. At one point, the dog is like jumping and running through the house, and the entire house is shaking. All the dishes are shaking. And I'm like, how big is this dog? It's not very realistic. So as I said, it is a story about this dog who really kind of touches the hearts and improves the lives of almost everyone who meets him. So this guy owns him, and it's not necessarily that he's bad, but he's not necessarily good, the dog that is. And the guy kind of really spoils him, I guess, and the dog gets away with a lot. And somebody ends up stealing the dog to sell him. I believe it was in Alaska. And he ends up being on this dog sled team that delivers mail. And he does that for a while, but then that gets shut down. And then this guy buys him to take him on this gold treasure journey or whatever. Eventually he ends up with Harrison Ford, and they're kind of really good for each other. And then it kind of becomes a story about how he just kind of goes out into the wild and interacts with wolves. And, like I say, a lot of this movie is just kind of ridiculously over the top, unbelievable. But it is a really good, heartwarming story. There's definitely a lot of real emotional moments, and it's a fun movie. And I feel like it's a really great movie just for the entire family. There's a little bit of violence, but for the most part, this movie is very family friendly. And I definitely enjoyed it, guys. I thought it was a great movie. In my opinion, best movie of the week. Well, I guess it didn't come out this week, but best movie I reviewed this week. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Next up, guys, No Mercy was sent to me for review by Mill Creek Entertainment. Now, this was a movie I had never seen, but it definitely has a kind of late 80s, early 90s vibe to it. And it has Richard Gere and Kim Basinger. And what happens is Richard Gere and his partner are undercover and at this car wash. They're trying to find drug dealers and end up busting this guy. And they're trying to get more information out of him. And he's like, well, I was hired to kill somebody. So they kind of go in on this whole thing. But then it's like a setup, and the guy ends up getting killed. And his partner, Richard Gere's partner, gets killed. And so Richard Gere's like trying to track down the guy who killed him and exact revenge on him. And Kim Basinger ends up being kind of like involved with this guy. And a lot of this story is like he gets Kim Basinger and they're trying to escape and then go back and get the revenge. And I like this movie, guys. It's nothing spectacular, but it is definitely a fun movie. I give this one a 3 out of 5. Last thing I have for you guys this week. Now, my daughter has been watching a lot of NSYNC on YouTube, and I'm assuming this is why this showed up in my feed, but I saw it and something just compelled me to watch it. It's called The Boy Band Con, The Lou Pearlman Story, and this is free on YouTube, and I do have a link, like I said earlier, down in the description to watch this one. But before I get into it, I feel like some things in this movie may have to be taken with a grain of salt. It is produced by Lance Bass. He is in it, and it is about somewhat, certain aspects are about him and his life. So this guy, Lou Pearlman, so obviously this is a documentary about this guy, Lou Pearlman, and he was responsible for creating Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. It goes into a lot of details about how he created Backstreet Boys, and then he decided to create NSYNC, and he kind of pitted them against each other, and how he really had these crooked contracts with them, and how he really tricked them every step of the road, and kind of stole all their money. I mean, it was in the contract, but at one point they say NSYNC had been working for 2 years, selling millions of records, and they each got a check for $10,000. I mean, could you imagine working 2 years for $10,000? And then, I mean, and he created some other bands. I think LFO, O-Town, and some other stuff I hadn't heard of before. I'm guessing he must have managed Aaron Carter because he's in it as well. It goes into how he stole millions and millions of dollars from people from a Ponzi scheme, and how he used this money to bankroll NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. And it was kind of like this circle. He'd get money from one place and move it to another, and get money from another place and move it to another. And they also go into how he may have been a pedophile, and he may have been just kind of a sexual predator, although they didn't really seem to prove any of that. To me, like Aaron Carter's response to a lot of this seems really strange if the guy is the way he was. And I believe some of it's been proven, because he does eventually, the law does eventually catch up to him. But he was really upset by all the allegations. And to me, it's kind of a red flag that he was so upset about the allegations. But anyways, guys, very interesting documentary. You really don't have to be a fan of the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or any of these boy bands to really enjoy this one. I mean, I'm not a fan of them. And I just thought it was an interesting story about this guy who really just tricked a lot of people and stole a lot of money. But I give this one a 4 out of 5, guys. I'd definitely check it out. So long video this week, guys. That is it. Hope you did enjoy the video. If you guys have seen any of these movies, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Or if you plan on picking anything up, let me know. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos, to success videos. And for more movie news, check out my website, BobsMovieReview.com. And I'll see you guys next time.